The conflict in the Middle East is expanding. There's now an all-out confrontation between Israel and Iran. Iran has been giving all kinds of threats, which include flashing and using Fattah 1 and 2 hypersonic missiles. But one particular asset that has not been brandished is the Qaher F-313, which has been touted as many in that country as a fifth-generation fighter. Since Israel has American-supplied F-35I Adir, the indigenous Qaher fighter would be a good counter, not just in potential combat, but also act as a deterrence and propaganda asset. So, what's the problem? This makes it an interesting plot. In this video, Defense Updates analyzes why Iran is not flaunting the Qaher F-313 fighter jet against Israel.
Before we proceed, a word on NordVPN, which is one of the most trusted VPN brands worldwide that has a no-log policy validated by Deloitte, an industry-leading Big Four auditing firm. NordVPN provides an encrypted tunnel that protects your privacy by preventing external entry to your internet traffic, as well as enabling you to access content that's blocked based on geolocation. Best of all, with one NordVPN account, you can secure up to 6 devices at the same time. Get an exclusive NordVPN deal with massive savings by going to nordvpn.com/defense or clicking the link in the description. It's risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee.
On the 1st of February 2013, Qaher 313 was publicly announced. While it's hardly the only indigenous Iranian fighter developed, with other programs to design twin-engine light fighters, such as the Psyche, being initiated, Qaher 313 is supposed to be the first domestically developed fifth-generation fighter. Lockheed Martin, which has developed 2 of the world's most produced stealth fighters, F-22 Raptor and F-35 Joint Strike Fighter, defines a fifth-generation fighter as one with all aspects stealth, even when armed, low probability of intercept radar, a high-performance airframe, advanced avionics, and a highly integrated computer system. The single-seat Qaher is thought to be designed with the aim of having a minimal radar cross-section and with the capability to carry 2 bombs or 4 to 6 air-to-air missiles. Since most details of the Qaher F-313 program are not known, one can only speculate what its capabilities may be. Qaher is most likely a low-cost, light stealth fighter with few fifth-generation features. Iran's Fars news agency's description of the fighter classifies it as a short-distance light jet. The Qaher's capabilities are likely to be similar to those of a heavily upgraded Nanchang Q-5 or F-5 with modifications to make it relatively low observable. Viewers may note that several countries have sought to incorporate stealth technologies into lighter and older jets. One example is China's development of advanced prototypes of the J-7 in the mid-2000s, which tested radar cross-section reduction techniques and limited stealth capabilities. The Iranian Air Force possesses more than 300 combat-capable aircraft, but all of them are either third-generation or fourth-generation ones. There are around 190 fighter aircraft, such as U.S.-made Northrop F-5s, F-4 Phantom II, Grumman F-14, and Russian-made Sukhoi Su-22, Sukhoi Su-24, and MiG-29. U.S.-made fighters were acquired by Iran when the relationship between the two countries was good. After the relations between the two countries nosedived, America refused to provide parts and maintenance support. Iran has managed to keep some of these jets in working condition, mainly by cannibalizing parts and reverse engineering. In some cases, the airframes, radar, and avionics systems have been replaced with upgraded ones. But as one can imagine, the fleet will be found wanting when confronted with a modern air force like that of the Israeli Air Force. The presence of Qaher F-313 would have been a good boost for the Iranian Air Force in terms of capability. Domestic aircraft would also have been much easier to maintain, enabling high combat availability. So the question is why Qaher F-313 is not coming to the forefront. Most pundits from Western nations and Israel were quick to ridicule the design that was first brought to the limelight, asserting Iran was not capable of designing and producing stealth aircraft. Israeli aeronautics expert Tal Inbar claimed it's not a plane because that's not how a real plane looks. Iran doesn't have the ability to build planes, plain and simple. Since its unveiling in 2013 by the Iran Aviation Industries Organization, Qaher has never flown publicly, leading to speculation that the program was for propaganda purposes only and could not be flown. Since the taxi trials in 2013, no further development progress has been publicly demonstrated. The seemingly unflyable appearance of early designs, which looked like to be made of plastic with the cockpit being too small for a pilot, and the military's reluctance to carry out a test flight, indicated that it was not a genuine prototype. While Iran has shown itself to have a substantial military-industrial base, a fifth-generation fighter, even remotely comparable to the U.S. F-35, requires a highly advanced technological base, which is likely still several decades beyond Iran's capabilities. Designing aircraft with such capabilities also costs hundreds of billions of dollars. This would be an extreme stretch for its defense budget of under $10 billion. As Israeli experts claimed when interviewed by the Times of Israel, Iran doesn't have the ability to build planes, plain and simple. Iran's adversaries dismissed the Qaher as state propaganda, while Iran's defense ministry similarly dismissed foreign claims against Iran's fighters. On the 18th of February 2023, the managing director of the Iran Aviation Industries Organization, IAIO, a subsidiary of the Defense Ministry, announced in a television interview that the fighter had reached technical maturity but would be reworked and fielded as an unmanned drone rather than a manned aircraft to adapt it to the requirements of Iranian military units. It was further stated that the first deliveries would be made in the middle of 2024, but there's no update on that even as the year enters its last quarter. So we can safely say that Qaher F-313 seems to be nothing more than a mock-up that can't fly, and hence Iran has refrained from flaunting it.
Subscribe for more videos like this. Hit the like button if you find the video interesting, and kindly provide your feedback in the comment section. This will help us improve.